Hi, it's 8 o'clock here in Central European time, and it's time for my weekly Facebook Live. Always looking forward to meeting you online, and I will give it a minute or two to have Facebook find you so that everyone know that we are live. So, today I want to talk about breeds. A little well, it's a topic that I've been talking about sometimes, but it's a huge topic, of course, and it's very important. And for my Facebook Lives, I often go to our Facebook group, Back to Basics, Ethical Dog Training. It's a free Facebook group where you can meet like-minded people and get help and support from the other members, 3,000 plus members now, and our dog trainers. So I go into that group and I see what people post, and I try to find some inspiration for my talks on these Facebook Lives. So we've been talking a little bit about breeds this week and last week in the group, and in our dog trainer school on level 3. The students are asked to do breed descriptions. So we're talking quite a lot about breeds there as well, because breeds, it's important. I can see that Justina is here. Hello. If anyone else is here and want to let me know, please write so in the comments below and tell me where you are. Just because I'm a curious person, I want to know where you are. And I'm very cold. I am in Norway. I know it's not very cold outside, but I'm cold, and I have had a cold and still have the cold, so everything is just cold for me at the moment. Unfortunately, when I go live with the Facebook app, I can't share my screen. So it's just me talking, but I have some notes. There you go. Now I can see some people here. Yes, we have Tati Anna-Marie in Belgium, Monica in New Hampshire. Hi, Monica. Violetta in Latvia, and Sylvia in Canada. So nice that you all joining me again and to take some time to listen and engage. This is what I love with the Facebook Lives, that I can actually, I feel that I kind of meet you and talk to you. We have 13,000 followers now on our Facebook page. So, yeah. Okay. So, I have some notes, because if not, I start talking about everything else. So let me find my notes and talk a little bit about why, first of all, why it's so important to know about breeds. So the problem is that I think one of the most important things we can do before getting a dog, if you are going to buy a dog, a pure breed dog, or even if you're going to adopt a dog, it's very wise to know about the breed specific traits. Okay, because a dog is a dog, of course, but they are bred to do different things. And we have a lot of different books about breeds. Of course, I haven't read them all, but we also have this big books about all dog breeds, which are, in my opinion, not the best way to go about finding out about your breed, because they are very general, and typically it will say that this breed needs, a medium amount of exercise and a large amount of this and a minimum amount of, for example, grooming, these kind of things. It doesn't really say a lot about what they were bred to do originally, which is something that is very important for you as the caretaker to know. Because when we have bred these dogs, we have bred them to do different things. So it becomes a part of their natural instinct to do. So if you choose a breed that was originally bred to guard, it's wise and very smart of you to find out what kind of guarding, guarding what? Big areas, small areas. Um, there are breeds that are bred to protect you from spirits, and these kind of breeds, depending on what they're guarding, of course, and how they're doing it, they would most likely tend to be barking more because they want to tell people or their caretaker that they are doing their job. For example, Papillon is a small, cute breed. Now, which a lot of the breeds are family dogs. And originally, it used to be used to sit in the window in the castles in France, 100 years ago or so. So the small dogs, they could lift them up in the windows, which was quite high on the wall, so they could look out, and then they would bark so that the bigger dogs on the floor could go and do the, physical guarding. They could run out and do the guarding. So they were kind of just telling the other dogs on the floor that, someone is coming, so you go and do your job. So don't be surprised if you get this kind of breed and it loves to sit in your window sill and bark. And very sad, a lot of people don't know what their dog is originally bred to do. So they look on their behavior as problem behavior, first of all, which is, of course, it can be a problem if you live in a flat and your dog sits in the window barking all day. I understand that's a problem. But sadly, people also think it's not normal behavior. And this is what we have to understand. A lot of the behavior, or all the behavior that the dog is doing, is always normal depending on everything. So even, everything is normal, I would say. Even abnormal behavior is normal because that's what we do when, something isn't right. So let me just, because I'm looking at my notes, I want to go back to Facebook and see if there are any more comments. Nope. Okay, so I'm just going to continue. So I wrote down 10 reasons why researching dog breeds is very important before you get a dog. And like I said, if you adopt a dog, please do some research. If you're able to know or find out or know what kind of breed or breeds are in that dog. Today we can do tests on dogs as well, gene tests, so you can actually know what the breeds are in your dog. So here are 10 reasons. There are lots more, but today I'm going to concentrate on these 10. It's first of all and in no particular order. I just have to say this is not like the most important and so on. It's just in no order at all, really. So it's to get a dog that is matching your lifestyle. Sadly, humans, we go for looks. And this really should be a no-no. You should not go for the looks. That should be the last thing on your list, really. I mean, if you really care, that shouldn't be important at all. So I'm going to take myself as an example. I love the breed Borsoi. It's a big hunting dog with very strong hunting instinct. They're called Russian Borsois, and I just love them. And I don't know why. I have 2 friends here in Norway who have been breeders of the dog of that breed, and I know the breed quite well. So I know many of these dogs, but it could never be anything for me because they don't match my temperament or my lifestyle or my the way I like to walk my dogs, where I like to walk my dogs, where I live, how I live, and so on. I like to have a dog that is, I can have off leash without too much training, with not a very high hunting instinct, so that I can have him off leash as much as possible without worrying. This is again me talking about how I am as a person. Okay, so a breed like Basset Hound, Wilma, it's my fourth Basset Hound. It suits me perfectly because we're kind of walking in the same slow motion as well, although she can be quite faster than me sometimes. Or golden retrievers. I had golden retriever. I love Italian greyhounds. They suit me very well because they don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. And they are all about sprinting. So in the winter, when it's cold, I can let them out and they can be off leash and do their sprinting and running very fast, for a few minutes, and then do their business, toileting and so on, and then they're happy with that. Yeah. Husky would not be my kind of breed. I don't like skiing. I don't really enjoy snow. It's that kind of thing. So your life is going to be so much easier if you choose a breed that is matching your personality. And the thing is, you need to be honest with yourself. Don't think of it as a person you would like to be or to become. Unfortunately, a lot of people, which I think is the very selfish reason to get a dog, is that they are getting a dog because they want to get in shape, so they want to go for walks. That is, according to me, the wrong reason why you should get a dog at all. Now I forgot my point. My point was, yeah. So don't get a dog from with the personality that you would like yourself to be. So again, I'm going to use myself as an example. I would love to be a person that was really fit and did what most Norwegians do in the weekends. They run up mountains. It feels like they're running. At least they're walking up in the mountains and they walk for long hikes and, very fit and outdoors. I would love to be that kind of person, but I'm not. I'm 54 years old and I know I am not. I am not even trying to be. So be honest with yourself. Do you have a family with younger children or older children? Are you active? What are your interests? Like, well, let's talk about that later. Okay, so again, I'm just talking here. So get a dog that is matching your lifestyle and who you are as a person. And then the different breeds, and this is what I really don't like with a lot of breed descriptions, is that they say that, first of all, I don't like this lists of the top 10 most intelligent breeds and stuff. That's, useless. In my head, there is no breed that is more intelligent than other breeds. They're just different. So, because Wilma is not acting like your typical border collie, she takes her time when I do a recall. She's like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm busy doing other things at the moment. She's not very interested in being that close to me as, for example, a golden retriever or a border collie, because they're bred to work, cooperate and be very close to the humans. So what was my point again? Yeah, when I Googled this before, when I was researching for my Facebook Live, when I Googled breeds and stuff, you always get this, breeds vary in intelligence and trainability and stuff. Yeah, sure. Not intelligence though, but trainability. Well, what is that? Do you want a dog that is easy to train? That's fine. There are breeds that are easier to train because they're more likely to want to work closer to you as a partner, as a team, doing stuff together. And then you have breeds that are very independent because they are bred to be independently working far away from the human, on their own, hunting or even oh, I forgot the word in English now. Retrieve things to the human. So Wilma is a basset hound. She's bred to go sniff on the ground, which she is doing. She's barely having her nose up when without walking. She sniffs. That's the point of her life, is to sniff. And she's supposed to be able to sniff and find animals quite far away from the human and work independently. So she has to be patient, and she's just doing her job. She's not acting like another kind of breed who would immediately turn around on a recall. So being independent has nothing to do with intelligence, right? So that's why I really don't like it when they say that some breeds are more intelligent than others. It's just different ways of working. Of course, we need to know the grooming requirements. And again, just, be realistic. An Afghan would be it's a beautiful dog, but for me, it's just too much coat, too much grooming there for me. If you love doing that kind of stuff, that's fine. Maybe that's one of your, potential breeds. Even rough collie for me is kind of, it's a long-haired dog. It's a lot of grooming to do. I like grooming, but I now found out, because I've had a lot of different breeds and I'm kind of old now, so I've had, my share of different experiences, and I know what I prefer now. So it's all about being honest to yourself, not who you want to be. And again, this comes also for the look of the dog or the breed. So that should be definitely the last thing you think about on the list, the looks. Health. Now that's a whole other Facebook Live altogether. Not with me though, but with a veterinarian or something, because there are a lot of health problems with our dogs today, unfortunately. So do your research on the health issues of the breeds that you are interested in having. Also, some practical advice is that when you do research, you need to go to different sources, not only one, many different, as many as you can. And actually, when you find out what country your breed is originally from, checking out that country's breed club or whatever they have, organization, is a smart thing to do, because you are more likely to get more interesting and more deeper and just more information about the original use of that breed from the country of origin. And today we have Google Translate, we have all kind of translating programs, so you can actually translate what you find online. So if it's an Asian breed and you are European, don't speak any Asian, then you can actually translate quite good and then understand. So this is something that we, it's a new tool we got just a few years ago, which is great, so we can do even more research. And when we ask our students on level 3 to do breed descriptions, they have to show minimum 4 different ones. And we are including not only just Google online. You Google online, but then you can contact the breed specific organizations. You could contact breeders. You can even contact veterinarians to hear what kind of experience they have with that breed, when it comes to health issues and stuff. Um, you can, of course, read books and other papers that you find online, but be very, very critical to what you find online. Because if you just Google a breed, let's say you just write golden retriever, there are so many of these, I'm sorry to say, BS pages online. There are no sources where they get the information from. There are no admins. You don't know who wrote it. You don't know where they got their information from. Nothing. It just says a whole lot about different breeds, and you have no clue who wrote it. This is number one. If you're going to go to a source, you need to know who or what the source is. And this is what I really wanted to talk about today, is how important it is for you to do that proper research. And if you are considering getting a dog, hopefully that dog will be with you for 14, 15, 16 years. So if you spend a few hours nighttime to research breeds, that's a good investment of time. So I talked about what they are originally bred to do. So there are different breed specifics. So some breeds might be more prone to barking or digging. If you're a garden person and love your garden, maybe you should stay away from dogs that love digging, right? Herding, of course, all kinds of different hunting dogs, retriever dogs, and I don't know, my brain is not functioning properly today. Breeding and hunting dogs. So the thing is that when the dogs breed, the traits don't match our lifestyle, rehoming is very often the option, because then the dog becomes a problem. The whole relationship becomes a problem, because we are not there to be able to give the dog what it needs. And a dog needs some certain, just like humans, we need some basics in our lives. And if some of these basic needs are not fulfilled, that's how we start having problems. So by researching different breeds, you can hopefully avoid to do that mistake. I've been working with dogs now for more than 20 years, and I'm so sad to see every time this is happening that people had not got the right breed for them. They can be a lovely home for a dog, but the breed was wrong. So everything, it's just messed up, and it's just not working out. And it's so unfair to the dog that we were so lazy. Now here I am, that we humans were too lazy to do our homework. It's our responsibility to do so, I think. So I also wrote down 10 reasons why this can cause a problem, to choose the wrong kind of breed for you. So number one is the mismatch in energy levels. So you have some breeds that are more high energy than other breeds. Not all dogs need to walk, for hours, of course. Check out my other Facebook lives and free online teachings by Turid as well about walking your dog. But they are different. Some needs more of certain activities than others. Wilma will most likely, my Basset, will most likely prefer to do tree search or some nose work as opposed to definitely as opposed to agility. I even tried just for fun, not a fast agility, but yeah. Also, all dogs, all breeds needs much more mental stimulation that we are giving them. That's what I'm claiming. We give them too little still. But some dogs need even more than other dogs and breeds. And that's also important to think about, to always remember that although there are certain specifics to breeds, they will always become individuals. And I have myself experienced, I've had 3 Basset Hounds, and then I got my 4th Basset Hound, which is Wilma. She's nothing like the other 3. Nothing. She could be a different breed, almost. And I've spoken to so many clients and dog owners, unfortunately, that they are also so surprised. So they've had I've had 6 German Shepherds in my life, and now I've got this one, and it's so different, and I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. They are individuals, always. So if we get the wrong kind of breed for us, and we haven't done our homework, then we might end up having unrealistic expectations to our dog, which again is unfair, I think, for the dog. If you have small children running around the house, if you have 3 or even 1, but a couple of small children running around the house, maybe your kind of breed isn't really a herding dog, a dog that is bred to, collect everyone together. And one of the traits is that they typically would, bite after your foot or your ankles. I would think twice, especially if you don't have any sheeps to breed hold on. Hey. To look after either. Also, space and lifestyle in general. Now, I think that most dogs can be okay in a small flat. It depends on what you can offer them on the outside. Okay? But again, this is things you have to take into consideration. And there are breeds that are more social than other breeds. There are breeds that like naturally to be more amongst humans than other breeds. Some breeds are more, like I said, independent, and they prefer their alone time. So they would, instead of sleeping together with you and all the other animals in the household, they would prefer to go and sleep in a different room even. That could be, again, very individual, the differences there as well. So and then grooming and health neglect, of course. Overexcitement in social situations. So there are some breeds, for example, boxers, which are, I think, again, beautiful. I think all dogs are beautiful. So but they are kind of known to be childish all their life. So it's a much bigger chance that you have to work on a jumping issue with a boxer than with another kind of breed. Can't think of a good example at the moment. But these are things that you need to think about. So what you should do is always to ask one question first. What can I offer my future dog? What can I offer? And I really wish that that was the common way of thinking when we get a dog. What can I offer? Because normally we come with a list. I have clients coming, I want a dog that's this. You cannot ever guarantee any behavior from any dog. Even, like I said, with breed specific, you can get a dog that is very different from the breed specifics. So it's a living being, so we cannot guarantee anything. And if you like to go for walks because you want to be fit, well, then you might have to, always, or you might have to just consider doing that kind of walks by yourself, and then you do your dog's walks afterwards. Then you get twice as much exercise, right? So let me just go through a little bit, very short, to explain to you how we do the breed descriptions at Nordic Dog Training, because we do them very different from anyone else. I learned this from Turid Rugaas when I went to her dog trainer school years ago, and she did it very differently. So I'm going to find now an example of one of the breed descriptions that we had. Um, that we had last month. Hold on. I thought I was just downloading them before the... Oh, I didn't I? Okay, so I didn't. It takes too long for me to go and find them now and download. I did download, but I downloaded the evaluation form instead of the actual breed description. Okay. So when our students are asked to do a breed description, they have to check out minimum 4 different sources. Actually, it should be 6 or 7 if you ask me. So maybe we'll just change that next year, but now it's minimum 4. And always be very critical to where you get your information from, both online and offline. And then first, check the health issues. You can talk to veterinarians about that. You can do research as well on your own about special health issues. I have 20 something years ago, and I shouldn't say this probably, but I will. So I used to be voluntarily, what you call it, like a member of, I was responsible for information about puppies in a breed organization here in Norway, the same breed that I had myself. It was like a non-paid work, and it was just volunteer work. So people could call me and ask about puppies, if there were any available puppies, what breeder had available puppies. Okay, I'm not going to say the breed, so I will tell the story, because it shocked me. This was just after I got my first dog as an adult. So it was back in 2000, 2001. And then this breed is actually banned in some countries now because of their health issues. And we all knew about it back then. I was very naive. I did not do what I'm telling you to do now. I didn't know enough. I was naive and I didn't do my work. I ended up with 3 dogs that died from health issues. That is very, very common in that breed. And what happened was that this is the official breed organization for that breed in Norway. It's a member of the FCI and all of that, so it's something that you should think you could trust. But then the leader of the organization actually called me up one day and she said, Lisbeth, you are not anymore allowed to talk about any health issues in our breed because there are none. There are no health issues with our breed. Okay, so it took 24 hours and then, I resigned for everything, of course. And I got quite involved with working as a volunteer again to find, good breeders and find out more about these health issues, which sadly was a big part of my life because of, that I had 3 dogs of that breed die from that health issues. But the official national organization did not allow me to talk about health issues because there were none. So I'm just telling you this as a warning. Don't be naive. So check many sources, as many as you can get. And then what you should do, which is also fun, I love it, is to read about breeds and to go as far back as you can in history to find out what are the original mixes, and because they didn't just come out like that. They were mixed. All breeds, also called purebred, are mixed dogs in the end, aren't they? So what were they originally bred to do? That's what they have to write in the breed description. The breed description that our students write is only 1 page long. They are not allowed to write any more because that's how much we can focus. We are meant to give this to our clients and to the dog owners, so it's not a book, it's just 1 page. The history of the breed and the original purpose of the breed, because that will tell you a lot about the traits. Is this a dog that is more like, likely to bark a lot? Is it likely to want to, be far away from you when you're when you're out walking off leash? These kind of things. And then, based on the history and the original purpose of the breed, the students are asked to write what kind of activities this breed is most likely to enjoy. I say most likely because there are individuals. And then to explain why this breed is most likely to enjoy this kind of activities. So if they write something like, this breed would love to do agility or obedience or flyball or search games, I always ask why. Why? So that makes you think. So you should also ask yourself the same question. If you read that, why would this breed love to do agility? Maybe it does. I'm not saying it doesn't, but why? And then in the breed description as well, for our students, they have to write the special characteristics and the traits of the breed relating to the original purpose. So this is where it comes in. This breed might be more likely to love to dig in your garden, or to, stand in your window and bark, or to chase and hunt, or your children, whatever it is. And then at the end, they have to write the appropriate environment, the best possible environment for that dog of that breed. So never ever, saying as a human that this is what I want, but looking from the dog's point of view, what is the best for the dog? Is this a dog that could be okay living in a busy city center, or would it prefer to live in the countryside, go skiing in the winter or something? This is where we should start, not by, having a list of demands on what kind of dog you want. That's just crazy. Okay. I've been talking for 40 minutes. I didn't know that I had so much on my mind about breeds. I think we need to do another live about it later as well. Let me go back to Facebook and see the comments, if there are any. Yes. Okay, so if you have now any comments or any questions or anything, please write them in the chat. If you see this as a recording, then please let me know where you are and say hi, but we won't come back and actually reply in the comments after the live. So we have Krisha here in Greece. Hi, Krisha. She's one of our teachers. Michelle is in Ireland. Justina is writing a comment here. There is currently a hype for border collies and Australian shepherds in Poland. Shelters are becoming crowded with these breeds. Looks great on Instagram, but doesn't match the cities or busy life, and no time for training or activities. That's a good and very sad example. Border collies are very, very, very popular in Norway as well. Probably one of the top 3. It has been for years. But then again, there are more farms and more land in Norway than in most other countries. It's just a lot of land and nothing, and very little people. So, yeah, a very misunderstood breed, and because of it's one of the most popular here in Norway as well. It's also one of the breeds it's a mixed breed, a lot with more border collies, and they are endless ads online to rehome, sadly. We have Ingebjörg from Iceland. It's so nice to see some Icelandic people. I missed you. Nordic dog trainer, you know. We need more people from Iceland and Finland. um, and Katrina is here in Ukraine. Hi, Katrina. Freddie is here. So Justina is writing another comment. I'm very experienced boxer owner. Oh, sorry, now it does. I was 10 when I got my first one, and yes, they are jumpy, but it's often because of our emotions. Being calm and using hand signal works great, but they have lots of health issues. I would say them as well. Unfortunately, this has become a huge problem, hasn't it, with health issues in our dogs. Ingeborg says it would be interesting to talk about fashion breeds in this context. If you would like to expand on that, please write it in the comment, because I don't have any particular things that comes to mind. But if you have anything to say or you want to discuss, please tell us. Gabrielle is here in Denmark, from Denmark, probably in Denmark as well. Okay, in Greece we have a problem with the huge number of strays that, in my opinion, we should not be allowed to buy pure breeds until the streets and the cages in the shelters are empty. I'm thinking about that sometimes as well, you know, to be honest. Yeah, it's a whole, like I said. Oh, I actually did already open a post inside our Facebook group, Back to Basics, where we can continue to discuss these issues. Like I said in the beginning, we have a free Facebook group called Back to Basics. I will post the link, or if Katrina or Monica or any of you who are here, if you can maybe help me and post a link now in the comments to the Back to Basics group, and you're not yet a member, become a member, and you know, then continue discussions in there, because it's very interesting and it's nice to do it in a nice, lovely environment with like-minded people. Okay, so Ingeborg says, breeds that are in fashion at different times in different places. These days, I would say French bulldogs are, for example, fashion breeds in Iceland. Oh yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. And it's the same thing with dog training, actually. And this is what I love discussing with Turid Rugaas. So Turid is 84 years old, and she has stories to tell that it's unbelievable. She's been actively working with dogs for 50 years. So I have so many questions, and I've been having hours on the phone with her, asking her, you know, what was it like in the 50s, 60s, you know, like years ago, why is all this happening, and so on. We're discussing dogs, basically. And then she always says that, you know, it's fashion when it comes to dog training. And she's like, no, it's nothing new. It's been around. It's just coming back again. She still haven't seen anything new invented. It's just like clothes, fashion. You know, we're doing the same thing all over again with a new twist, or we call it something different. But yeah. So what can we do about fashion breeds? It's nothing wrong with, you know, how can I say this without being misunderstood? There's nothing wrong with having popular breeds or anything like that, but I believe that everything is about knowledge. We need to go out there and inform people what to do. That's why I'm doing these lives, to help you avoid doing stupid mistakes that I've done. It's the same thing with dogs as with everything else here in life. So, yeah. Another comment is that these days Instagram is filled with Pembroke corgis. They're very, very popular for fluff butt. I've seen some of them too. And you know, when the 101 Dalmatians came out, and I can't remember the name of the movie with the Bernadese. Yeah, it's sad for the breed every time it becomes popular like that, because they are misunderstood, a lot of these breeds. And what we see on Disney films is really not what it's like in reality. It never is. So yes, Ingebjörg, you are very right about the fashion breeds. It's about the looks, and maybe someone famous has the type of breed. In my opinion, it's very problematic and right on point with what you said earlier, not thinking about what I can offer. Exactly. Yeah. Bring that into the discussion in the Back to Basics group, will you? Because it's nice to be able to continue there as well. Violetta is asking if I have some list of breed description books. Maybe you can suggest some reliable books. No. I'm so sorry. I don't. Because there are so many in so many different languages. And of course, I haven't read thick books about all the 400 breeds we have and all the books about one breed. So I don't. That's my honest answer. I know that there are a few books in general that are quite okay. There was one, but it's not relevant because I don't think it was ever written in English. It was only in Scandinavian languages, which was about different breeds, which was the best book I've read so far, because they were after, hunting, what is it called? Hunting, I can't believe I can't remember. What is the dog that is taking care of or guarding dog, guarding dogs, hunting dogs, the chapters was after the original instincts. That's what you might want to look for. And remember, everyone can write a book. I'm not saying that, but everyone can write a book. So I can write a book about basset hounds. I've had 4 basset hounds. I can write a book about basset hounds. Is it good? I don't think so, because 4 basset hounds, yeah. So again, be very critical to what you read, and read more than 1, even more than 2. And then the more sources you get, the more overall information you get, so that you can actually see what is right and what is wrong. So that's why it's so, I would even say, dangerous to go into a random Google site, like a page on Google, all about dog breeds or something, and you have no clue who wrote it. It doesn't say any names or authors or where they got the information from. So don't trust it. You need to do your own research, so you can become a professor in the breed you are thinking about getting. Okay, I'm sorry, this took a while today, almost an hour. Been babbling on. I have a lot on my mind when it comes to breed, because it's so many aspects of it. What I want to really say again, this is the takeaway from this Facebook Live today, is please, you and everyone else who needs to know this and needs to hear it, so you can share this live, maybe have a think about, turning the question the other way around. So stop asking what kind of dog or breed I want. Ask what kind of lifestyle, what kind of life, what kind of everything can I have to offer a dog. And then you should try and do the research, so you can find the kind of dog that will most likely suit your lifestyle, because it will make, of course, your dog extremely happy, because it will have a good life, and so will you. Okay, so with that, I have a very hungry Wilma. She's been, asking for food ever since we started, so I need to go and feed my dog. I'll see you next Wednesday here on Facebook. Thank you for attending and have a good week. Bye.